Hello everyone, my name is Ajit Singh Raina. I am working as a developer advocate at Docker. In this short video, I am going to show you how to build a competitive repricing agent using ChatGPT and Docker MCP Toolkit. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a ChatGPT that automatically scrape the computer pricer from various websites. It analyzes your pricing agents and the strategies. It updates your Stripe product prices in real time. It logs all your decision to your local SQL database. And then finally, it pushes all the audit reports to your GitHub repo, all through a simple conversation. No manual coding, no copy pasting. So let's dive in and build this. Before we start, make sure you have Docker Desktop installed up and running. You will also require a ChatGPT Plus Pro Business and Enterprise account. You need an ngrok account, which creates a secure tunnel from your public internet to your local machine. And there are a couple of API keys which has to be ready. First one is Stripe API key. You can use the test mode. We'll also require a Firecrawl API key, which you can download it from the Firecrawl website. As well as we have a GitHub personal access token that need to be configured. Or if you want to go through the OAuth, you can just have to authenticate through the Google account. Assuming that you already have Docker Desktop installed, let's go ahead and enable a Docker MCP Toolkit. Just open a Docker Desktop, go to the settings and select a beta feature. You toggle MCP Toolkit to on, click on apply and restart. That's it. By now, you should see Docker MCP Toolkit on the left sidebar under Docker dashboard. Now for the exciting part, let's add all 7 MCP servers that powers our repricing agent. Open Docker Desktop, go to the MCP Toolkit and click on Catalog. Let's start with the first one, which is Context 7. Now Context 7 MCP helps you with the up-to-date code documentation for LLM and AI code editor. It ships 2 tools. In order to use this tool, all you need is to add MCP server. No further configuration is required for this. Next, let's move to the second one, which is Firecrawl MCP. The Firecrawl MCP provides you with the powerful web scraping and search capabilities to Cursor, Claude, and any other LLM clients. The Firecrawl MCP requires configuration and hence you require a Firecrawl API to be added. Go ahead, click Add MCP Server once the API key is applied. Next on the list is Sequential Thinking MCP. It's basically a dynamic and reflective problem solving through thought sequences. It provides you with just a single tool that is sufficient to analyze your problem through a flexible thinking process that can adapt and evolve. Next comes the most essential MCP, which is the Stripe MCP. Stripe interacts with the Stripe services through Stripe API. Stripe MCP comes with 22 different tools such as list prices, list products, etc. You will also need Stripe secret key to use this tool. Next, we have a Node.js sandbox MCP server, which provides you with a node-based MCP server that spins up the Docker container to execute the JavaScript. Next, you will require SQLite, a powerful AI-ready DB engine, 22 different tools, and 0 configuration. Now, once you add all these MCP servers, it gets listed under MCP server section. Ensure that you have all the tools listed and none of them shows 0 tools. Not to miss out, you will also require a GitHub official MCP server. There are 2 ways to authenticate. One is OAuth and the other one is personal access token. Authenticating through OAuth is pretty straightforward. If you want to authenticate through personal access token, it requires configuring a developer settings under the GitHub. Ensure that you have a proper permission under your repository. Now, once MCP servers are configured, it's time to configure MCP gateway and mgrok. This is a compose file that runs a Docker MCP gateway, the bridge in between your ChatGPT and your MCP servers. The gateway uses Docker official MCP gateway image and listens on port 8811 for all the incoming requests from ChatGPT. So when ChatGPT sends a request, the gateway conserves a catalog.yaml file to determine which MCP servers are available and then route the request to the appropriate one. Now let's go ahead and run Docker Compose up to build and start the MCP gateway container. This pulls the official MCP gateway image, mounts your local catalog configuration and exposes the port 8811 for ChatGPT to connect to. And once the container is running, you will see that the gateway waiting for MCP session request. That's your signal. It's ready to bridge ChatGPT to your MCP server. Meanwhile, Let me go ahead and open a new terminal to run ngrok. Assuming ngrok is already installed, just run ngrok http 8811 to expose your local gateway to the internet. You can copy the public URL that it generates, something like http ending with free.app. This is what you will paste it in the ChatGPT connector settings to establish the connection between your ChatGPT and your local MCP gateway. Now it's time to add ngrok URL under ChatGPT. First, we need to enable ChatGPT with developer mode to give it full MCP capabilities. Here's how to do it. Click on your profile icon, select settings, go to the app and connectors, scroll down and select the advanced settings, toggle developer mode to on. Now ChatGPT developer mode provide you with the full MCP support, both read and write operations. ChatGPT can now perform write operations like creating a repositories, updating the database, modifying the files, all with a confirmation model for safety. Now let's connect ChatGPT to your MCP gateway. In ChatGPT, go to the settings, apps, connector, create, fill in a connector detail. You can provide the name as a competitive repricing agent, provide a description, connector URL, which you saved in the earlier step. And then under the authentication, you can just say no auth and click on create. Now this connects a ChatGPT to your MCP gateway. Under the developer mode, all the tools should get listed as shown. Next, under the ChatGPT, you can select connector and start with the prompt. This system prompts transferred the ChatGPT into a competitive repricing agent. It tells ChatGPT exactly how to use those 7 MCP servers together. The prompt defines a database schema with 4 tables: product you sell, price history from competitors, price alerts, and repricing log for your audit trials. It also specifies the workflow. So when a competitor drops below your price, ChatGPT should scrape the data, compare the prices, update your Stripe catalog, log the decision, and then push the report to GitHub. The key section is the pricing strategy. The prompt also includes command recognition patterns, so ChatGPT knows the phrases like stay competitive should trigger the full repricing pipeline. Next, let's try to enter a user prompt. The user prompt kicks up the agent with a specific scenario, just like how you are selling the MacBook Air M3 at $549 on your Strike store. You want ChatGPT to monitor those Amazon, Walmart, and Best Buy. If any of the competitor drops below that price, the ChatGPT should automatically undercut them by 1%, log everything to escalate, and then push an audit report to the GitHub. You can also view tools description while prompt is in action. The system will ask for allowing the repricing agent to search the competitor prices. You just need to allow it to move further. It will take its own sweet time. Next, the system will ask permission to create a GitHub repo, which is private in nature for the final report. Then it will ask permission to run a repricing agent code. It's basically running a JavaScript to monitor those competitor prices and update the Stripe product prices for MacBook Air. Once allowed, it will proceed further and you might see that the container spin up and immediately exit it. It will go ahead and search for the available prices in all the websites. And finally, after some time, you should be able to see it generating the reports and pushing it to the GitHub repo. Now you can verify if the reports are finally being generated by visiting the competitive repricing agent private repo. As I can see clearly that the new repo along with the reports gets generated with the overall analysis. And that's it. In about 15 minutes, you have built something that ChatGPT alone simply can't do. An agent that doesn't just talk but about prices, but actually updates them in Stripe, logs the decision to your database, and pushes all the audit trials to your GitHub, all running in isolated Docker containers, all in your infrastructure. If you're curious to know about the code, the prompt, and the full demo, they are linked in the description. Try it out and let me know how it goes.